D-Gens, what's up, guys? What's going on? Good to see you. Good to see you. Good afternoon. Yo, yo, yo. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How's everybody doing? All right. Let's get into this video. Let's put some stank on it. Let's go, baby. Okay. JASMY. As you see, I still have the golden cross mapped out here, guys, as I see it playing out. Give or take, that's how it's going to play out. Golden cross forming. I did a video this morning talking about somebody said over on X to me that the chart doesn't look good for JASMY, man. Doesn't look good. Okay. Let me go through it again here. Chart doesn't look good. Okay, it looks bearish, she said. Okay, so we've been in a five-month bullish pattern. We have our 3 touch points on this trend line, right? Once again, we have our breakout, we have our retest, and we're getting ready to have our break to the upside. Not to mention the fact that if I zoom in, again, what do we have here? We have the golden cross forming. So what about the daily time frame doesn't look good? I don't know, right? The guy's probably looking at the 1 minute chart or something and giving half-assed TA or something. I don't know. But clearly, man, you shouldn't give TA advice if you don't know how to do TA because, I mean, there's like 3 bullish things going on the daily time frame for JASMY right now, and you're saying it doesn't look good. RSI's in the neutral, ready to go. Further continuation to the upside is inevitable, in my opinion. Let's go have a look over at what Bitcoin's doing. Bitcoin actually broke above resistance earlier today, but look at this. We got sucked all the way back down, close to the trend line of the symmetrical triangle here. Maybe we'll make another run at it later today. I think we're going to personally have a pretty green afternoon, guys. I don't know. It just feels that way. Feels like it's going to be a good start. If not today, then tomorrow for sure. We're going to have some green. We're ready. We're primed for our breakout here. We're primed for our next leg up, in my opinion. We need another one of these little God candles to kick in. But things look pretty good. Things look pretty good. Going across the crypto bubbles. Let's have a look at what's going on over there. KASPA's having a nice run today, up 11.4%. KASPA goes live on Tier 1 exchange Kraken today. That's probably why they're pumping pretty good. Algorand up 14.5%, looking good. XRP's up another 4.1%. Our beloved JASMY, 1.8% to the upside, 2 cents, 152. $1.04 billion market cap, 48 million in trading volume, guys. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. Going across the broader market, look at HBAR, guys. XLM, HBAR, and traxa are pamping. Absolutely. HBAR's at 12 cents, guys. Got back down to about 4 cents, 8 after that massive run last time. And I said at the time that HBAR was a good entry point again at about 4 cents, 8, 5 cents. And hopefully you guys stock back up. And yeah, so traxa, they have a new partnership. I'll go over that a little bit later. It's part of the news of the day, so so I will get into that. But there's still some good DCA opportunities out there as well, right? So yeah, not too bad, guys. All right, so as always, guys, listen. I get to the chat the second half of the stream, so I'm not ignoring you. Put your questions and comments in there. I will get to your questions. Definitely, just put them in there. I'll get to them. All right, let's go on to the news, see what's going on out there. So HBAR board member and former Binance US CEO Brian Brooks has been named a potential candidate for the SEC chair. This is Brian Brooks right here, guys. I played a video for him yesterday testifying in front of Congress about blockchain technology, and he's very, very bullish on blockchain technology and crypto. So he would be my personal favorite pick for head of the SEC for sure. That would be amazing. All right, Bloomberg hosts just speculated about Bitcoin being included in the future U.S. sovereign wealth fund. Let's get into it here.
And that was Larry Summers speaking with David Weston about possibility of a sovereign wealth fund. I know that's a conversation that you had with John Paulson just a couple weeks ago.
It's something that President-elect Trump brought up during this Economic Club of New York speech, and of course, John Paulson was very for it, one of the men behind the idea. Weirdly enough, there's actually a bipartisan bill sitting in the Senate right now that a lot of people don't know about, and it's something that had come up from both parties, as we've been talking about bipartisan. The idea here is, I know how much you love the conversation around pensions, but it would be the Retirement Savings for Americans Act, and it would take Americans' money, match it with government money, and then essentially create a sovereign wealth fund like you see in other countries.
Well, remember, Bloomberg reported back in September that Biden aides were working on a proposal for a U.S. sovereign wealth fund, that they were looking to create one that would allow the U.S. to invest in national security interests. So to your point that it's bipartisan, it was, something that the Biden administration was looking at.
I'm guessing not fully funded by Bitcoin?
I don't think so, but TBD, anything can happen, as we've learned.
It's kind of a Wall Street dream. If you think about it, BlackRock, Apollo, these would be the money managers at the end of the day. Maybe not all Bitcoin. There's only 21 million of them after all that.
That doesn't mean the price can't appreciate, I mean, for example, what did Michael Saylor's fund? They just spent 4.6 billion, and I call it a fund, but it's actually supposed to be a company, right?
Yeah, it's just kind of the whole company.
They spent $4.6 billion on
Bitcoin. Kind of
the U.S. could step in and spend $460 billion.
But then you think
Bitcoin.
about what the other MS told us, of course, that basically, or Novogratz rather, there's so many Michaels. Yeah, but he was saying that he doesn't see it as a high likelihood that we're going to actually see a Bitcoin strategic reserve, even with all those crypto-friendly people in Congress now.
At the end of the day, it comes down to how people are going to retire and what kind of money the government of America can spend into future investment. A lot of skeptics.
And we already can't afford Social Security, so you want to add another one to the list.
All right, well, let's talk about ETFs next. I'm really excited for that conversation. Maybe we'll even talk about Bitcoin, too. This is Bloomberg.
Maybe we'll even talk about Bitcoin, too. Oh, man. You got to love the naysayers, guys. You got to love the naysayers. Just in, OCC releases notice saying they're preparing to list spot Bitcoin ETF options. The bullish news just keeps pouring in, guys. It just keeps coming. $3 trillion in assets under management. Goldman Sachs plans to convert its digital asset platform into a blockchain venture for faster trading and settlements. Goldman Sachs getting on board with blockchain technology, guys. You see what I'm saying? And people are questioning whether crypto's a scam or not. Like, I'm just, what are you talking about? Michael Saylor, Microstrategy, bought an additional 51,780 Bitcoin for $4.6 billion. Michael Saylor continues to stack sats, guys. And I have something to piggyback off of that if I can find it here. Right here, guys. Check this out. Andrew Tate says he will buy $1 million in Bitcoin every single time MicroStrategy does. Well played, sir. Well played. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. What else do we got? Cosmos Health integrates Bitcoin and Ethereum as a treasury reserve asset. That's a global healthcare group, guys. Absolutely massive. Do you see the adoption? Do you see it? Like, I point this out every single day, every live stream. Myria update. It's confirmed. More exclusive games are coming to the Myria verse. Our roadmap outlines the release of at least one Ridiculous Shooters game on the Myria platform annually for over the next 2 years. I'm going to do a separate video breaking it down because it is very long paper, guys. But very, very big news on Myria's network. I just announced a partnership with another game the other day, and here we are with a multitude, at least one Ridiculous Shooters game on the Myria platform annually for the next 2 years. So at least 2 new games coming into the Myria network, guys, for Ridiculous Shooters. You'll love to see that. All right. See that, guys? That's why people ask me about Web3 games, okay? For me, I want to focus when I'm when I'm investing in a Web3 company, gaming company, I invest in the platforms, not games. Okay. If you're investing in a game, for the most part, it's just speculation. You can take flyers on games, but when you get into like a platform like Gala or Myria, right? Those are platforms that games build on top of, where there's hundreds of games built on there, right? As opposed to buying the token for one game, and that one game is either going to hit or it's not going to hit, right? The chances are worse when you do that, right? So that's why you want to look into like layer 2 platforms like Myria as opposed to individual games, right? Dell Crypto. Now this, I agree with a lot of what Dell says, but this I do not agree with. Okay. He says, attention, JASMY family. JASMY is a catalyst-driven asset. It always has been. This is highlighted by the fact that JASMY has the ability to create its own catalyst events. All it takes is JASMY to release with some kind of new update, partnership, and boom. So yes and no, right? Catalyst will boost the price of JASMY just like every other token. But it's not solely a catalyst-driven asset. That's not true, guys. It runs the charts just like every other project, right? Like right now, JASMY's getting ready for a big breakout to the upside. We've had a breakout of the descending channel, a confirmation of the breakout with a retest, and it's getting ready to run to the upside. That's not a catalyst. That's just chart action, right? So I don't agree with Della's Crypto on this one. I think he is incorrect. 1 billion USDT has just been minted at the Tether Treasury on Ethereum, guys. Another $1 billion coming into the crypto space. What else do we got? This just in, $725 billion in assets under management. Bernstein predicts Bitcoin to hit $200,000 by 2025. Says intrigue will turn the pain for the Bitcoin bears. Hell yeah. All right. What else do we got? Here's that Traxa news, guys. They just had a new partnership. I'll get that out of the way. Traxa is proud to partner with Meridian Finance to deploy a native synthetic stablecoin on their network, adding another critical puzzle piece to the DeFi ecosystem. Guys, Traxa is a layer 1. It is a little known gem, in my opinion. We made a lot of money on Traxa over on the member side last year. Very, very nice. All right, Charles Hoskinson talking. Founder Charles Hoskinson says Midnight is going to be a Leviathan in 2025.
I think that Midnight is going to be a Leviathan in 2025 based upon how it's being launched, how the ecosystem's coming together, the reception that we've all gotten, and the combination of core technologies, and the fact that Cardano can launch Midnight, meaning you're decentralized from day one. You don't have to go and build like a whole layer 1 network effect or have governance keys or these types of things. You're just decentralized from day one. That's how it should be. And VCs didn't come in and screw up the distribution and all these other things. And that's the kind of stuff that makes a huge difference. You know, Midnight is a gift to the entire industry, and it's what is going to get us where we need to go as an industry. We need private smart contracts, and we need identity so that we can get all of those real world assets and security tokens and other such things in. And what's beautiful is the very same thing that does Bitcoin DeFi on Cardano by adding Midnight to the list. So you have a tri-hybrid application, 3 blockchains, Cardano, Midnight, Bitcoin. Bitcoin, for the first time ever, can have a privacy layer for private smart contracts. How about that? So can't wait to collaborate with the Bitcoin community on that. Got a lot of work to do. Bitcoin Education Project is coming back, and we're definitely going to talk about what makes Bitcoin special and unique, and what makes Bitcoin the dominant cryptocurrency. There's a lot of philosophy there. That's good philosophy. It's good to be reading again, good to be thinking again in that sphere. But then also, what are things you can do to extend that mindset, but still stay in the Bitcoin ecosystem and keep the Bitcoin guarantees?
Some of these dinosaur projects, or labeled dinosaur projects, are really starting to make some interesting turns, guys, revitalizing their ecosystems and their communities. XRP gains momentum amid SEC rumors and technical breakout. XRP is gaining much attention in the market as its interest has rapidly increased over the past week. On Monday, analyst Jack the Rippler posted on X that the SEC chair Gary Gensler may resign soon, which would have implications for the crypto industry. It is rumored, if this rumor turns out to be true, it will have a massive impact on regulating cryptocurrencies, including XRP. An official announcement may be made in the near future, which may affect the market even more. Potential XRP breakout. The technical indicator points out that XRP might be preparing for a breakthrough during this period of volatility. On Monday, analyst JD posted on X that he's gearing up to mark the token's top if it breaches a 7-year trend line. JD suggests that the breakout could happen soon, especially after the close of the monthly chart, which was positive. An increase in the BB and RSI breakout further helps to support the bullish argument. JD confidently stated that if these indicators are in the right place, he will be ready for ready to wear his moon boy boots. The increase in the popularity of XRP is not only reflected in technical analysis. Google Trends data shows that interest in the token has spiked sharply. On November 16th, the search popularity score of XRP hit 100, which is an excellent indicator of public interest in the cryptocurrency. On November 8th, the interest index was only at 8, which shows that the sentiment changed drastically from 8 to 100. This can be seen in April of 2021 when XRP trading reached $1.96 as the search interest followed a similar trend. So XRP mooning and it does continue to look juicy. All right, what else do we got? Just in, options trading on BlackRock's spot Bitcoin ETF could list as soon as tomorrow on the NASDAQ, Allison Hennessy says. I think I have a follow-up video for that. Just bear with me for a moment. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. We have a follow-up on that.
You're the primary exchange for IBIT. And you have basically the greatest launch of all time up and running on your exchange. And now we just got word over the past couple days that after the SEC approval, CFTC has approved, and OCC, I'll let you deal with those acronyms, but this is like the bureaucracy that you have to go through to get options to be approved, especially for a 33 Act ETF. It's a little tricky, but it looks like all systems go. When can investors and traders expect to have options on IBIT and the other ones?
Well, First, I couldn't agree with you more, Eric, on the success of IBIT and really all the spot Bitcoin ETFs that we've seen come to market going back to January. IBIT now over $40 billion, larger than the iShares Gold Trust ETF. I think you pointed out last week, larger than the 2,800 ETFs that have launched in the past decade. So what a momentous milestone. The options development on IBIT is something that we've been working on over the past 10 months. With BlackRock, with the regulators. And so, as you said, over the past few days, the CFTC did put out an advisory on their stance with these with the options listed on IBIT. So we're working very closely with BlackRock and the OCC on these final steps. We've put out the necessary listing application documentation. And so our intent at NASDAQ is to list and trade these options, as early as tomorrow. So it should certainly be an exciting week. It was exciting enough to have these spot Bitcoin ETFs launched earlier this year, and then we had the Ethereum ETFs in July. So I think kind of this next step is just rounding out that digital asset ecosystem for ETF investors.
That's really interesting. So potentially as soon as tomorrow, watch this space. You mentioned that this is something you've been working on with BlackRock and the necessary parties for 10 months. You think back to the experience with the Bitcoin futures ETFs. It didn't take long at all to get options listed on those funds. I don't know if you want to speculate, but do you have any opinion as to why it took this long?
Yeah, I mean, no real speculation. Like Eric said, the structure of the 33 Act that these spot Bitcoin ETFs are
are structured in. Just is some added, regulatory, approvals that need to be had. But again, up until this point, like I said, our, strong engagement with these different regulators as well as the BlackRock team led us to this, successful decision. And again, getting these options listed on IBIT into the market, I think will be, very exciting for investors. That's really what we've heard from them.
This is massive, guys. ETFs going to NASDAQ. Are you ready? A little bit of Michael Saylor talking here. We don't have enemies. What we have are people that need Bitcoin that don't yet know why they should be our friends.
It used to be, if you go back to 2018 in the Bitcoin community, if you said Larry Fink, they would say, oh, Larry Fink doesn't like us. And in the year 2024, Larry Fink goes on television and speaks to leaders in the world and says Bitcoin is a store of value. It protects the sovereignty of the individual. It allows you to achieve your hopes. It is hope. Larry Fink has said Bitcoin is hope. Now, what does that say to me? It says we don't have enemies. What we have are people that need Bitcoin that don't yet know why they should be our friend. When someone goes on television and they're asked, what do you think about Bitcoin? And they get poked and they're a little bit irritated, they got to ask the question. They're not an enemy of Bitcoin. They're just not prepared for the question. And in fact, over time, the journalist will do the poking because they know the most important thing in the world today is Bitcoin. And you're going to have a group of people that understand it, that will say it's the future. And you'll have a group of people that don't understand it and they will not have embraced it. But at the end of the day, with time, with education, we're going to see more and more people join the network and they're going to participate.
Absolutely. I agree. Absolutely, guys. All right. Kevin O'Leary talking about it too. All right. Kevin O'Leary says Elon Musk and Vivek Ramsway at Doge. I don't see any reason why these two can't just release the hounds and go nuts. This is going to be fun, guys.
Here's a breakdown of federal spending, just so that folks at home know where their tax dollars are going. Healthcare, 25%, Social Security, 20 to 25%, defense, 13 to 15%, safety net programs, 10%, interest on the national debt, 8 to 10%. The way it breaks down is 61% of spending is mandatory, 13% is on debt service, 26% is discretionary, which really will be the target of Doge. And that is a small piece of the pie to try to wring $2 trillion out of, Kevin.
I don't know. I think healthcare could be another place of savings. We haven't really used any technology there yet. We haven't really digitized medical records. We really haven't brought a mandate of AI into that. I think we could save a lot of money. The U.S. has one of the worst IRR returns on healthcare spending. When you can compare it to some of the European countries like Switzerland or England or France, they do a much better job. But they share the records on a much more ubiquitous basis that we do. We're always concerned about privacy, but I think we could fix that too. But I like looking at everything. I don't see any reason why these two can't just release the hounds and go nuts. Everybody's interested to find out what they're going to see. And I'd like to hear it myself because maybe it's a means test on Social Security. We have to fix this because the deficit's getting a little big right now. And the bond market's starting to get a little uneasy in the 10-year. I worry about that.
Yeah, I mean, there's no question that Social Security is something that might need to be looked at. But Simpson Bowles said, let's look at that. And Republicans in Congress said, nope, not going to touch that. So Elon Musk is having no end of fun with all of this. America, his PAC, produced this tweet saying, quote, the Pentagon just failed its 7th audit in a row. The nation's largest government agency is unable to fully account for its budget of over $824 billion. They don't even know where billions of taxpayers' money is going. Efficiency is coming, to which Musk retweeted with a comment, sounds like a job for Doge. I mean, he really looks like he's looking forward to getting into the numbers here.
I rest my case, Your Honor. Here he goes. He's just going to keep on these guys, hitting him every day to 1 billion people that are willing to listen, and the head squeezing begins. I love head squeezing. This is fantastic. They're going to think he's going to go away. No, he won't. He'll just keep going and going and going and going, and no one's going to stop him. He owns the network. We've never had anything quite like this, and I absolutely love it. This is terrific.
All right. Well, we'll see if they can wring that money out of the federal budget. It'll be something to watch. Kevin, great to.
Elon Musk being absolutely relentless. I love it. I love it. Back to MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy just bought 51,780 Bitcoin for 4.6 billion since January 2024. The amount of Bitcoin per fully diluted share has grown by 41.8%.
Just last week, MSTR bought an additional 51,780 Bitcoin for $4.6 billion in cash at an average price of $88,627 per Bitcoin. These coins were purchased by issuing more shares of stock. This simply means that MSTR creates new shares out of thin air, sells them, and buys Bitcoin. This is all part of his newly announced plan: buy $42 billion of Bitcoin over the next 3 years. Although it's starting to appear he may do it significantly faster than 3 years. So what does this mean for shareholders? Well, within the 8K filed by MSTR this morning, it said they achieved a BTC yield of 41.8% year to date. This means if you had shares of MSTR holding 1 Bitcoin on January 1st, 2024, the same shares are now holding 1.418 BTC. Now, this is exactly what everyone has been arguing about all year. Should MSTR trade at a premium over the amount of coins they hold? And if so, what should be the premium? Right now, I believe the premium is about 3x. This means if you are exclusively looking at how much you're paying per Bitcoin on their balance sheet, you're paying about $270 per coin, which sounds pretty expensive considering Bitcoin is at $90,000 per coin. However, Bitcoins per share is growing, and this year it has grown rapidly at 41.8%, which in my opinion certainly justifies some sort of premium. MSTRs effectively leverage Bitcoin with no short-term liquidation risk, and during bull markets, leverage Bitcoin is obviously a popular trade in high demand because it prints money. Now, what's interesting is the amount of interest in MSTR. I've already received a few texts about MSTR, maybe even more than Bitcoin itself. A lot of people have asked me, Joe, should I buy some MSTR? It's a good question, and my response has been the same for a while. I personally do own some MSTR, but it is small relative to my Bitcoin position. If you don't own any Bitcoin, it's best to buy real Bitcoin first, using something like Unchained. Like I said, MSTR is leveraged Bitcoin exposure, so the volatility has and will continue to be absolutely insane. And if you don't understand Bitcoin, or if you don't understand MSTR, you likely will get shaken out of your position. Last, it's interesting to think about what's really happening here. In fact, it could be the start of hyper-Bitcoinization. We have MSTR effectively performing a speculative attack by borrowing dollars by issuing convertible notes and buying Bitcoin. And fiat money itself is debt. So the very act of borrowing money to buy Bitcoin increases the total number of circulating dollars or dollar credit, and it increases the scarcity of Bitcoin. At the same time, you have a pro-Bitcoin White House, a pro-Bitcoin House of Representatives, a pro-Bitcoin Senate, and a pro-Bitcoin senator who has proposed a bill to pass a strategic Bitcoin reserve and accumulate 1 million Bitcoin over the next 4 years for the United States of America. If this truly gets going, it's possible this could be the spark of hyper-Bitcoinization, or at least enable Bitcoin to surge beyond the market size of gold, which will likely result in Bitcoin being worth millions of dollars per coin in a fairly short order. Thanks for watching, everyone, and see you next time.
Yep, I agree, guys. We are going to see Bitcoin being worth minimum $1 million, minimum, right? All right, what do we got? We got another XRP article here. Check it out, guys. XRP News, legal expert says SEC's latest appeal has nothing to do with the $125 million penalty. Ripple has come a long way since its early days when reaching $1 seemed possible. Now, with XRP surging past $1, some are even predicting that it could reach as high as reach the previous all-time high, $3.30. While this may sound far-fetched, recent rumors of SEC Chair Gary Gensler's resignation and Ripple's potential victory in its legal battle with the SEC have fueled speculation that XRP's future could be brighter than ever. Although Gensler's resignation is still unconfirmed, the mere rumor has sparked a wave of optimism across the crypto space, with many hoping it signals a shift in the SEC stance on digital assets. If true, it could open the door to greater adoption and investment in Ripple XRP. As the momentum continues to build, many are now watching closely to see if this rally is just the beginning of something much bigger for XRP. Amid the uncertainty, one user claimed that the only remaining issue in the case is the settlement fee. With the SEC seeking more than $125 million, the user also claimed that XRP has already won the key points in its ruled not to be a security, which, yes, is actually true. But former SEC lawyer Mark Fagel disagreed, saying this view is inaccurate. He explained that the appeal isn't about the settlement fee, as there is no such thing. Instead, the SEC is appealing the ruling on programmatic sales, while Ripple is cross-appealing the decision on institutional sales. That is inaccurate for a SEC lawyer. I'm shocked, a former SEC lawyer, to think that the appeal is about whether programmatic sales are XRP being sold on the secondary market. That is not being appealed, you guys. It's not being appealed. I don't know why some people don't seem to understand that. It's come not just from me. I mean, take it from John Deaton, Jeremy Hogan, Meta Lawman, right? They all say the same thing. The fact that XRP is not a security on the secondary market is not being appealed. It's not. It's not even if the SEC wanted to appeal it, according to John Deaton, they can't appeal it. It cannot be appealed. That it's put to bed. It's put to rest. It has legal clarity. Full stop. Right. So I'm a little surprised that a former SEC lawyer doesn't understand that, but I digress. Right. All right. What else do we got? Lark Davis, can Bitcoin hit 200K this cycle?
Bitcoin's racing up to meet level 3 of the magic bands at $98,720. Could be our next major target. He says, I've been showcasing this target since the break of level 2 9 months ago, and now it's just an inch away. On top of this, we're about to see the bands rapidly expand to the upside as they adjust for volume beyond all-time highs. The cycle top target is now $134,000, and it should be going up by thousands of dollars per week. I'm still anticipating a cycle top in late 2025, which I would argue has become a more uncommon opinion as people try to counter what they believe is popular. With this long to go, there should be lots of time for the bands to expand to higher prices. Just interject here real quick. That could be the 250K to 200K market cycle top target. Okay. Anyway, with this long to go, there should be lots of time for the bands to expand higher prices. A reminder that this model has near nailed all technical tops November 2013, December 2017, April 2021, not to mention the impeccable mid-cycle accuracy. Unlike last cycle, I believe more people will sell early as opposed to late in an attempt to avoid holding through another bear market. Just be patient. This is what we've waited for. Yes, I agree. A lot of people due to PTSD will be running to the exits way too soon.
Yes, vital, guys. I agree with that, especially that last statement. Too many people are going to be heading for the exits, taking profits way too soon. Guys, if you don't know what you're doing when it comes to that, you got to get over to the Patreon and get the help that you need from us. We do group Zoom calls every day, and we talk about these things, right? And we do also do one-on-ones with you, so we can help you form your exit strategy. Do not get sucked into leaving this market too soon, because you will be furious with yourself. Also, guys, I just uploaded about an hour ago a video over to the Patreon, okay? It is about how to work with your bank, because, guys, there's a lot of banks out there that will freeze your bank account once you move crypto money from crypto exchanges back into your account, especially six figures and stuff like that, $100,000 or more. Banks will freeze your accounts. I had some Yahoo in the comments section of my video this morning say, this isn't true, this guy's a liar. So I actually did a breakdown video over on the Patreon today with an article proving that banks do in fact seize your assets if you transfer money from a crypto exchange back to your bank account, okay? There are ways around this, though. There are ways to work with your bank so that they don't do this. And I explain it all in the video. So get over to the Patreon and get the help that you need. You do not want to, guys, you don't want to make $500,000 in this bull run or something or more, transfer to your bank, only to have your bank freeze your assets for 2 years and make you jump through legal loopholes to get your money back, right? You don't want to deal with that stuff. Get over to the Patreon, watch the video, and join us in our community. The link is in the chat. It's in the description. It's in the pinned comments. What else do we have going on here? Brad Garlinghouse. We were talking about yesterday. We were over on the Patreon as well. I was talking about how I believe that the crypto market is going to start moving towards mergers and I'm tongue-tied right there. Whatever. You're going to see companies buying each other and merging together. Acquisitions. There it is. I was tongue-tied there. You're going to start seeing mergers and acquisitions start to happen in crypto. We've already seen it happen with Ocean, Fetch AI, and SingularityNet merging into ASI token. You see it in the stock market all the time. I do believe we're going to start to see this kind of stuff over in the crypto space. We're already seeing companies like Ripple, Cardano, and HBAR working together, guys. And I think you're going to start to see some of these powerhouses come together, merging, making super companies.
We have a point of contact that we can reach out to the Hedera community and collaborate. And I think we haven't yet come together around that. And I think there's an opportunity to do that.
I think that's amazing. So good to hear for the whole, but for your respective communities, but the crypto industry as a whole. Lehman, I know that you're big on this.
I am very big on this. So this is absolutely what we need. What we need to be doing is having the blockchains working together for things like this. So when we identify scams, we should inform each other, inform the exchanges, and be working together as an industry on this, and to educate people and to find other ways that we can deal with these problems, because it affects all of us.
Yeah.
And
it's
so
holding all of us back.
It's holding all of us back, right? And so we aren't just independent. We really are together.
Yeah.
And so I love that. And we've been doing decentralized recovery, which is another thing where we're working together. And I just think we as an industry have a lot of common interests that we can use to make it be useful to the rest of the world. And that's what we need to be working on.
For sure. I do think if you charted the impact of tribalism over time, it is the waning or waxing?
Waning.
I think it's waning in our industry.
Yeah, no, when I realized, I don't know which one it was.
Yeah, which one?
Yeah. And so that's very, very good. But I think the more we can do to accelerate that, I think more often than not, we agree. And frankly, I think for Ripple's, the experience we had at the SEC in the lawsuit, part of that fight was for Ripple. Part of that fight was the whole industry. And I think it demonstrates that if we can kind of think about the broader community, the greater good, that can have a really positive impact for everybody.
HBAR and Ripple working together, guys. Absolutely bullish. Love to see it, guys. Love to see powerhouse companies come together, especially ones that I like so much. ETH ETF saw a record $515 million in net inflows last week, marking the highest since launch. Ethereum ETFs are starting to gain some momentum, guys. It is happening right before your eyes. What else we got? Bitcoin news on X. This video will transform your financial future. Michael Saylor breaks down why Bitcoin is the holy grail asset, outpacing monetary inflation.
But I'll start with the problem that we all know. The economic problem is that very few asset classes outperform monetary inflation. If you're trying to beat the cost of capital, the S&P index, it's very, very challenging to do it. And everybody in the world is looking for a solution to this problem. The companies don't have a solution. If the company can't grow 15% a year or more, institutional investors lose interest, liquidity in the stock dries up. There is no options market. And companies are required by normal treasury rules to use U.S. treasuries as their capital asset. And if a company is sitting on top of treasury bills, they're losing 10% of their capital a year. They're underperforming the cost of capital by 10%. $100 billion of capital is going to cost your shareholders $10 billion a year. So companies are, in essence, type 1 diabetics. Every company with a treasury strategy is a diabetic. You're in essence bleeding capital off your balance sheet. And of course, Intelligent CEOs or CFOs understand that. So their solution, of course, is just give away all the money. Like we give away the capital. We buy the stock back and we lever up 144 to 1, or I dividend it out. But the solution of my wealth is toxic, so I'm going to give it all away is, in my opinion, not a recipe for living happily ever after. And that's what we do to most operating companies. There's a political problem. The political problem is, how do we grow the economy of the United States? How do we deliver prosperity to our people? And how do we overcome a deficit? And all that while maintaining global leadership. So everyone, every institution, every investor, every company, every politician is struggling with these problems today. Bitcoin's the solution. Why is it the solution? Is it the solution? A lot of people are wondering that. Well, I'll put the Bitcoin return for the last 4 years on this chart I just showed you, and you can see Bitcoin is just punching a hole in all the traditional capital markets. This isn't 1 year or 2 years. This is 4 years, but you know, it happens to be the 4 years since MicroStrategy decided Bitcoin was the solution. And you might say, well, you cherry-picked that number. That's the low number. I cherry-picked that number because the other numbers are better, and I'll show you that in a second. If we look at this entire set of asset classes, they line up kind of elegantly. If you're actually holding bonds for the last 4 years, you lost 5% of your capital a year. Ooh. They're losers. Every bank in the U.S. is capitalized on bonds. Every operating company is capitalized on bonds. You wonder why the banks are sick? You wonder why the operating companies are sick? They're sitting on those minus 5% instruments, and that's their best idea. Gold's plus 6%. You might as well just hold gold. Real estate's plus 10%. The S&P is 15%. You can double it with the Magnificent Seven. Find the best companies in the S&P, the NVIDIAs, the Apples, the Googles. 29%. And this little creature we call Bitcoin is doubling that, 60%. And when you look at that chart, a lot of things become pretty clear. But this is the past 14 years. Bitcoin's not just winning. I mean, it's up 78% in 8 years. It's up 103% in 12 years. It's up 168% in 14 years. It's consistently winning. And at some point, if you look at the numbers, you start to wonder, well, why is it winning? And is this a fluke? And the irony, of course, is that you still get questions from the normies every day, like, well, when does the run stop? It's like, when do nuclear reactors stop producing more electricity than water wheels? You know, when does the airplane stop flying faster than the donkey cart? The answer is it's not going to stop because it's structural and technical. Everyone in the world is searching for an asset uncorrelated to the S&P 500 with higher returns, uncorrelated and performing. It's the holy grail. Banks have conferences on this stuff. Well, Bitcoin is that asset. It's an asset without the counterparty risk that comes from competitors, countries, corporations, creditors, cultures, or currencies. Everything else you own in your life has a counterparty risk to one of those items, except Bitcoin. Bitcoin is, in essence, orthogonal to the rest of the market. That makes it alpha. But you don't have to believe it from first principles. You don't have to study it. You can just look at the data. This is Fidelity data. It's showing the lack of correlation and the Sharpe ratio. It's got the highest Sharpe ratio. It's got the lowest correlation. So even if you haven't read the book, The Bitcoin Standard, even if you haven't thought about it for 100 hours or 1,000 hours or 10 hours, all you have to do is just run the numbers. The market is screaming at you that it's an uncorrelated, high-performing asset.
So here's the thing, guys. The numbers on the S&P 500 are not as good even as Michael just pointed out to us here, okay? And I've talked about this before. A lot of time when the S&P 500 starts pumping and reaching new all-time highs and stuff like that, it correlates directly with the injection of liquidity into the economy, right? So what they're doing is they're printing money and they're injecting that money into the S&P 500. So while it looks like the S&P 500 percentage-wise returns are fantastic, it's actually negative because the purchasing power of the money that you have in terms of the increase in value of the stock, whatever stock you're holding in the S&P 500, right, is actually less, right? So while it looks good the way that they put it on paper, it's actually not good at all. Crypto and Bitcoin solves this, right? So a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't know that kind of stuff. That's why you want to subscribe here, guys, so it can help you understand that stuff. Will Mara Holdings boost Bitcoin reserves? Mara Holdings has announced its ambition to issue $700 million in convertible senior bonds set to mature in 2030. This offering is geared solely towards qualified institutional buyers and includes an option for an additional $105 million in bond purchases. The company plans to allocate $200 million of its proceeds to buy back its existing convertible bonds that are due in 2026. The rest of the funds will be directed towards Bitcoin acquisition, expansion efforts, strategic purchases, and debt settlements. The profitability of Bitcoin mining is on the rise, prompting miners to pause operations or liquidate assets to enhance profits during each cycle. Companies like Mara are ramping up efforts to build reserves in anticipation of the upcoming halving event, seeking to capitalize on the current bullish market trends. Now, Mara also started mining KASPA. There's an interesting little caveat for you there. Mara's approach mirrors the fuel-filled Bitcoin accumulation strategies embraced by firms like Microstrategy and Japan's Metaplanet, and soon Microsoft as well, guys. Metaplanet's similar initiative has significantly boosted its Bitcoin reserve revenue, nearly doubling its worth year over year. Currently, Marathon Digital stands as the largest Bitcoin holder among publicly traded mining firms, with a staggering 27,562 BTC in its portfolio, further solidifying its position as a key player in the Bitcoin investment arena. The convertible bonds can be converted into cash or stocks at Mara's discretion, with interest payments scheduled to be made semi-annually. However, specific details remain in the works. Mara Holdings' strategy to issue these bonds is aimed at bolstering its Bitcoin holdings and overall growing trajectory by emulating the success of other companies utilizing similar financial strategies. So they're basically using the Microstrategy strategy to build out their company, right? So, and you're seeing the same thing with, you're seeing it with Microstrategy, Metaplanet. Now you're seeing it with Mara. You're going to see it with Microsoft starting next month as well, guys. This is the wave of the future. Tsunami of financial money, tsunami of money is coming into Bitcoin, guys. And if you don't hold any, the normies are going to look back. The normies are going to look back in 10 years and they're going to say, why didn't I buy some Bitcoin? Right? Don't be that guy. Cardano has no real world use case. Cardano solves global crime. Watch this.
What real world problems does Cardano solve?
Oh, so the list is very, very long, right? But I think specifically being here in Dubai, let's speak about something a lot of people don't know. Every time we walk out of the door, we take a trade-off. Do we rather want to be secure, so nobody's robbing us, nobody's sapping us, that we live in a society where global crime is being managed, or do we want to keep our privacy? And that's a very hard trade-off, specifically when you start thinking about what privacy really is. UAE is a very small country who is on the forefront of the digital transformation. And what we decided to do with the Dubai police is to help them being the leader in digital transformation and law enforcement without selling the private information of the local citizens here. How this works is that we are taking all guns who's being bought in Dubai and UAE, they're being registered, not just the serial number, but the actual cartridge. So they shoot in a water tank and there is a 3D rendering coming out of how exactly the fingerprint of the bullet and the gun is. Now, if you would upload that to Interpol or to Europol or something like that, you're actually contributing to solving global crime. But no crime has happened. You just bought a gun and that's your right. So what we did is we actually decided to design a one-way hash algorithm who takes the whole file, puts it into a binary string, where it's non-reversible. That means that if a crime is happening now in Norway, they can actually look at a comparison picture without ever having access to the original picture, without ever having access to who actually posted that picture. And if they see the comparison is fairly high, they can leave a message on the blockchain saying, please contact us, we are the Norway police. And now UAE can decide whether the match is good enough. If they decide it's good enough, they can take contact to the Norway police, and now they can speak together with the culture and the partnership agreements they have. In this way, all of the private personal data from this very transformative country is not being uploaded into a cloud construct, which is controlled by hundreds of different other countries, where some have a bigger say than others. Yeah. So we can solve global crime by still protecting privacy, and by taking this upfront and Cardano Foundation doing the research and the implementation of that, we can also help neighboring countries who is not so far in terms of how we solve crime locally and globally, and roll that out to neighboring countries in the name of Dubai Police. And that means that UAE and Dubai suddenly becomes the front runner in the digital transformation for global law enforcement while still keeping privacy. And that means that that trade-off I spoke about earlier doesn't need to happen.
Cardano helping solve global crime. Follow the white rabbit, Neo. What is next? My goodness, man. My goodness. Blockchain is the wave of the future, guys. If you ain't got it by now, you just ain't getting it. Michael Saylor spent $4.6 billion on Bitcoin. Again, the U.S. Could step in. I already watched this. Never mind. We already watched that. All right. Bitcoin will be 100K by the end of the year.
I think that's right. It does seem like Bitcoin is becoming more and more a hallmark of what this next administration is going to have. And it does solve some of the deficit concerns. If Bitcoin becomes a reserve asset, and it may solve some of the what I'd consider inherent problems of the current financial system. Bitcoin remains a very secure blockchain. So I think there's still a lot of potential for Bitcoin.
So where were we last time we were, or at least a recent time I asked you, still triple digits by the end of the year? I think we were around 70 or under 70. We're much closer now. So I don't want to ask you if you're raising your price target on Bitcoin, but it looks like triple digits is certainly a possibility. What is it? It's November.
Yeah, I think comfortably over 100,000 makes sense before the end of this year, and Bitcoin is trading pretty closely to how it should post-halving. So I think the next 12 months look pretty good for Bitcoin.
I personally feel like Bitcoin's going to struggle to get through 100K. I'm not saying it's not going to. It is going to, but it's not. I mean, everyone's talking about over 100K like it's going to be easy to do, right? There's a lot of shorts at 100K. A lot of selling pressure is going to be at 100K. It's going to be a very powerful level of psychological level of resistance, right? So Dixie's having itself a spinning top candle here. I wanted to look at the Bitcoin dominance today. So continuing to try to roll over here, guys. We need to see a complete collapse of this, though. I need to see, really downward here. That would be really good for crypto. However, this may continue to ping pong for a little while, guys, because Bitcoin's not done yet, right? That's the thing. It's just cooling off right now. It's just chilling, right? So we could see Bitcoin dominance continue to rule, and that's fine because it's not altcoin season yet. So that's perfectly fine, right? All right, so we're not gonna listen to this whole thing, guys. Just a bit of it, but Microstrategy bought 51,780 Bitcoin. BlackRock's plan. How Saylor buys 7 billion in 2 weeks. How fast will they use that 42 billion? And is this BlackRock's secret plan? Listen up.
All right, MicroStrategy has just announced a purchase of 51,780 Bitcoin. That's $4.6 billion of the ATM that they're using. And what I want to just quickly discuss in this particular video is a strategy that's playing out here that's bigger than what a lot of people think, and how I think it may impact the market. And of course, as a result of that, all of this information is for you and for everybody to decide whether MicroStrategy is a potential allocation in your portfolio or not. That's what you should be thinking about here. You should be thinking about, do I need to get exposure to MicroStrategy because of what's happening here? So they bought another 52,000 Bitcoin, basically, right? And they've run through their $42 billion, 21 of which was ATM. And again, ATM is selling their shares into the market, which is why you've seen a price depression on MSTR here over the last couple of weeks. They've run through $7 billion in 2 weeks over here, right? And so what I wanted to talk about is, what does this mean for a potential bear market? And I want you to subscribe to the channel, because the conversation I want to have for the rest of this week is about what happens to the cycles. How valid are 4-year cycles? How valid is it to think that Bitcoin's going to have another 70, 80% dip? What are the forces that are coming into the market that are basically subverting all of these things and may change what this cycle looks like? So subscribe to the channel for that. Follow if you haven't, because we're going to have that conversation all of this week. So here's what this means, right? They've basically guaranteed a $42 billion put option on the spot Bitcoin market, right? They've raised that capital and they said, we're going to be in the market buying $42 billion over the next 3 years. Now, clearly, based on the pace that they're going, $7 billion in 2 weeks, you know, they're going to run through this in a year latest, right? This is a lot of capital, but they're going to run through it in a year latest. It's not going to take the 3 years to do this. And we're going to come over to what I think Saylor is going to do in the future after they run out of this ATM in a video tomorrow. So make sure you subscribe for that too. So assuming that you've got a $42 billion buying pace over an average of 252 trading days. And by the way I want to have this conversation is assuming that there's no other buyers in the market, assuming that the normal bull run retail buying doesn't happen, assuming that there is nobody else in the market buying besides Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy. And I think that's really the smart way of looking at this to judge what sort of impact this can have in a bull run environment. Let's look at it besides all of that, without any of that first. So basically, if you have $42 billion over 252 trading sessions in a year, you basically got a bid in the market, a guaranteed purchase of $167 million every single day from one buyer, right? Now, how does that impact? If we take the daily mined Bitcoin, which is 450, and we add 30% on top of that for the selling float of people that already own coins, then you have 585 Bitcoin a day willing to be bought, right? Willing to be sold and willing to be acquired by someone new. Well, this gives us a floor price, because if you take that $167 million every single day divided by 585, this gives us a floor price of $285,000 a coin, right? Now, it doesn't immediately jump there, because we have to clear our OTC desk. There's selling going on in the market. There's more selling going on in the market at certain periods. Miners might be selling to raise capital. People want to sell to buy houses, whatever, right? This happens at these key moments, like all-time high, for example, then 100,000, for example, and then maybe, every sort of $10,000 until we, breach that at $200,000 a coin or whatever. I would say that there's going to be a sizable amount of selling volume coming in, because people are just sitting around going, hey, maybe I can buy a house, maybe I can buy a car, maybe I can pay for my kids here, or whatever, right? Whatever they want to, maybe I just take profits, right? Because they're not confident in the trade anymore. So, it's never going to jump immediately there. OTC desks are also going to be full and flush. It takes time to flush out these sales orders. But if we were looking at a straight average, then you're looking at an average of $285,000 floor price on Bitcoin, right? That's just from this one buyer. So when those OTC desks and everybody else is drained, you're going to see rapid rises, probably more rapid, I would say, in this cycle than we've been used to in the previous cycle.
And guys, I've been saying that on the channel, and especially over on the Patreon. We've been saying that for a while now, that people look at me sideways when I say we're running out of Bitcoin available, right? OTC was they had over 400,000 Bitcoin in January of this year. There's only about 110,000 left. We're going to burn through that very fast. And what he's saying here, guys, is when that happens, they have to start purchasing on exchanges, same as you and I, right? And what that means is that they're purchasing it at a spot price. If you don't understand what OTC purchasing is, guys, get over to the Patreon. I did a video breaking it down over there. So definitely get over there and check it out. But that's what he's talking about here.
Maybe even the 2017 cycle, right? Now, should that happen, MSTR's valuation, right? If we hit the 285, MSTR's valuation expands by rough estimate, because there's so many other factors involved here, by 3x as well, to $150 billion, right? So assuming there's no hysteria, no parabolic moves, no one else buying, and no bull run in essence coming, you're looking at a $285,000 floor price, MSTR expanding to 150 billion. Those converts that they were, or the ATM at 21 and the convertible debt at 42, all being used up and paid back. Seller can basically issue another $100 billion against the new valuation of $150 billion and do the same thing again. And that would now mean that we have a $100 billion put in the market, guaranteeing a floor price of $686,000 per coin for the next year. This is like, we run this from now to next November, get another 100 bill, and then we now have a floor price of $686,000 until November 2026, which would traditionally be known as the bear market, which is why I want to have the conversation about cycles and what's happening during cycles and how cycles are being impacted right now, and by the corporate finance side of what's going on in Bitcoin. Now, the scariest part about this is that when this happens, Wall Street will certainly get the message. Why? Well, because, one of the things that I find quite interesting is everybody thinks that, everybody in retail, we tend to think that everybody thinks like us. BlackRock doesn't think like retail. When BlackRock is deciding to go and attack an asset, which I've been saying for a year now, over a year, probably a year and a half now, that the ETF is in and the market has changed. So we're going to get Bitcoin is ESG friendly. Bitcoin is good for the environment. Bitcoin is good for everything. It's good for corporate treasury. It's good for the environment. It's good for making money. It's good for growing your wealth. It's good for everything, right? Because BlackRock's in the game, because they think holistically. And if you are thinking holistically like BlackRock, this is, of course, I'm about to go into a little bit of a conspiracy theory rant. So I don't want the doom and gloom boomers and the happy hippies and everybody else to get their panties in a twist, or the MSTR bears or anyone to get their panties in a twist. This is a conspiracy of mine, right? It is speculation of mine. But if I'm BlackRock and I want to take over this game, I do not want to think about this linearly. I do not want to say, hey, year one, we'll launch an ETF. Year two, we'll go acquire some miners. Year three, we'll get some options open. No, you see the whole chessboard, and you line the whole chessboard up, and then you go and attack immediately as aggressively as possible. And remember, out of all of these companies, the biggest shareholders, the two biggest shareholders of MicroStrategy are BlackRock and Vanguard. So when people were telling me that Vanguard is bearish on Bitcoin, they're not. They want to funnel that capital through MSTR. And so the way I look at it is this. So BlackRock has an ETF that's more successful than any ETF ever launched in human history. Options are coming on that ETF. So they have that flow happening, right? You've got retail institution that just needs to own the underlying asset. They can use the ETF. They can generate income. They can do speculation and hedging with the option side. They own all the miners, right? BlackRock owns every single miner, right? They own a significant portion of every single miner that's out there. So the miners are ready for play now too. Then you come over and you go, well, if you have the retail market, the institutional market, what is something else that will profit from Bitcoin performing the way that we want it to perform? Well, it's obviously the place that they buy that from. Where do they buy the Bitcoin from? They own Coinbase, right? And then it's, where does the custody happen? Well, it's Coinbase, so we got to own Coinbase. So you double have to own Coinbase. So they own Coinbase, one of the biggest shareholders in Coinbase. And then you look at it and you go, okay, so now we've got really the $100 trillion market of equities and commodities and everything else sort of tied up. What else is there? Well, there's this traditional 60-40 bond portfolio that hasn't been performing because it's 60% equities, 40% bonds. The bond side has been lagging. Well, we need a vehicle to attack the bond market with Bitcoin.
I'm going to stop it there, guys, so you don't get bored with. Some of you guys are probably bored with it, but he's basically saying that they're playing a bigger picture here, guys. Right? They're looking to control. They're looking to accumulate the Bitcoin through multitudes of ways. OTC, right? Holding it, ETFs, through companies like Coinbase, buying up all of their stocks, buying up the stock of MicroStrategy. These other companies putting it on their balance sheets, like Microsoft, for example, right? And normies don't even see it. They don't even see it. That's the thing that's the thing of it. So, all right, let's get back over to the Bitcoin chart. And let's get into the chat. Let's see what everybody's talking about. All right, so guys, as always, please make sure you hit the like and subscribe to the channel. It helps the channel grow. It means a lot to me personally, guys. Thank you very much in advance. Funky, Pumpy Pump Day. H-Bar is chugging along. Absolutely, man. Absolutely, brother. Brandon's in the house. I think Jasmy's going to do it today. I hope so. Everything else is blasted off. Jasmy hasn't even moved. It's prime for liftoff, though. Bruno, good afternoon, man. XLM and H-Bar having a nice pump. Yes. Dumb Money's in the house. Good afternoon, brother. Waiting patiently for the countdown and the sky to turn green. Jesse James, what's up, man? Our time is now. Jasmy needs to get its piece of the pie. It will, man. It will. Jetpack, what's up, buddy? Good to see you, man. Bruno, thank you for the video you posted for the members, Rob. Hey, no problem, brother. I got you covered, man. I got you covered. Ivy, what's up, man? Good to see you. Good to see you. Yo, Lily. What's up, Lily? Good to see you. Tiger's in the house. Hit that resistance already, please. No way, man. I meant Doge or Peanut. Got turbo on my brain. Ty, what's up, man? Been a while. Hope all is well. How about XRP? I know, man. I know. XRP still pumping. Still pumping. XRP, Algorand, KASPA, Miria, all looking good today. Bobby, could you see XRP touch three figures by 2028? If you're talking about the peak of the 2028-2029 bull run, it's possible. It would take a lot of things going right, but it's possible. Rip Rice, what's up, man? If you had to pick one, Swift or XN, I can't do that, man. I can't do that. I love both of them too much. But at the end of the day, if you're having trouble trying to decide that, what I would do is this, okay? This would be the deciding factor, and this is just me personally, all right? I'd go first to Swift. Okay, what's the market cap? What's the tokenomics? Good tokenomics, fantastic tokenomics, right? Market cap, $30 million. If you go over to XCN, what are you looking at? $51 million, $51.5 million market cap. Tokenomics are good, are fantastic, but they're not as good as Swift's. So I would look at the potential return on investment would probably be Swift in that if you're holding them up side by side. Brian Brooks is the perfect candidate. Yes, absolutely, man. Amon's in the house. What's up, buddy? Good to see you, man. XCN, more listings and staking availability. William, what's up, man? Good to see you. Good to see you. Ty, H-Bar's been running. I haven't been able to check, but did Binance ever take Jasmy out? Nope, not yet. Not yet, man. Didn't Brian Brooks used to work for Ripple and taught Larry Fink, now is up for SEC chairman? Ripple, well played. Yes, no kidding. With everything going on around Ripple, how do you feel about the stock? I can't buy the stock because I'm not an American accredited investor. So, I mean, the Ripple stock's going to do amazing. Regardless, here's the thing, though, guys, is that, like, and I know you're not implying this, Jetpack, but people like BitBoy, they do imply it as clickbait. They imply that that XRP is going to have some sort of correlation with Ripple IPOing, right? And it just doesn't. It doesn't, guys. It's clickbait stuff. XRP is a crypto that gives you no inherent rights to Ripple, right? Ripple stock is completely different, right? So when Ripple IPOs and goes public, their stock price is going to go through the roof. XRP is not going to go through the roof. It has nothing to do with Ripple as a company and IPOing, right? But people like BitBoy would lead you to believe the opposite because he wants the XRP people to watch his videos, right? I'm not here to put powdered sugar on your donut. I'm here to tell you the truth, right? So, but I am bullish on Ripple stock, though, Jetpack. I absolutely am. Lehman Bart is great. We need him in office. Yes, yes, yes. Brandon, do you think for JASMY project being in the innovation zone for so long and moving into the top 50 now, heading back to 100? I don't understand what you're asking me there, Brandon. Do I think it's going to drop because it's been in the innovation so long? No. I don't think people care about the innovation zone as much as some people think that they do. I think it's a nothing burger at the end of the day. They're going to get removed from the monitoring zone, and we might see a little bit of a pump, but I don't think it's going to be a nothing burger, and people are going to be angry because it's been built up to be this big thing when it's just, I don't think that it is, right? Algo, yes, we love Algorand. Absolutely, man. Collectibles are the only thing that outdid Bitcoin, but in actuality, Bitcoin is collectibles. Yeah, 100%, man. 100%. Federal Reserve is the stock market. Yes, exactly. That's what I've been saying. JASMY lockups? Nope, nothing yet, man. Estonia is a great example of a full-on digital economy. Yes, Minority Report is next. SBL, JASMY to $1. Lord of the Realm, what's up, man? Good to see you. Michael Saylor has found the snake that eats its own tail to survive. Borrow against Bitcoin. Use the tax-free money to get more Bitcoin. Bitcoin goes up and pays itself off over and over. Yeah. OTC. We the ones. We the ones. They're the twos. David says, for the best crypto news, join the Patreon. Yes, David, absolutely, brother. Simon, Rob, do you think Stellar Loomis will be number one for coins with most utility because it's currently second below ETH, and Franklin Templeton is planning to shift all their money to Stellar? I think every utility project says something similar. Their communities say something similar. Stellar XLM will do fantastic, in my opinion. They will do fantastic. They're XRP just in a different way, on a smaller scale. Think about it that way, right? And I don't mean smaller scale in a derogatory sense. Think about it like XRP being cross-border payments globally, XLM being domestic payments, right? So kind of apples and oranges. I think they'll do absolutely amazing. Their price chart tends to be correlated with XRP as well. So, as XRP's price goes, so does XLM's, right? But I am a fan of XLM for sure. Bitcoin dominance looking like it's about to dump hard. Yes, I agree. I was looking at it. We kind of have a little bit of a double top going on there. So, can Patreon members who missed the live chats watch it back? Yes, you can, Aman. Yes, you can. I record them all and then I post them. Just go to the video library on the Patreon. You can rewatch them, right? So yes. All right, guys. So listen, yeah, Aman, basically what he's saying here, guys, we do group Zoom calls every single day and we discuss all relevant topics in crypto. We help you out, guys. I said it before. I did a video a little bit earlier today over on the Patreon discussing how to work with your bank so that they don't freeze your asset, your money, when you transfer it from a crypto exchange back to your bank. It does set off a red flag, guys. With your banks, a lot of banks will freeze your accounts and you can go through years of red tape and hoops jumping through to try to get your money back from them. They make you go, they'll make you prove everything and try to go back and find missing documents, and they will hold your money for years, guys. So if you want to avoid that kind of trouble, I uploaded a video over on the Patreon breaking that down today. We help you with that kind of stuff, guys. We also help you with compounding gains, passive income, DeFi staking, taxes and tax implications, everything else, guys. So get over to the Patreon, schedule a one-on-one with me, and you can also join our daily group Zoom calls where we talk about all this stuff. We help you get all your questions answered, get you geared up and ready to go. The parabolic part of the bull run is coming, guys. Do not miss out. We the ones, they're the twos. Let's freaking go. I'll see you guys this evening at 8 o'clock Central for another live stream. 7 days a week, 1 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Central, right here. Live streams. Do not miss them, guys. Get over to the Patreon. The link is down below. I'll see you guys later.